My name is Christopher Slosar, and I completed my economics thesis on the impact of commissioning source on mid-career officer retention. Army officer retention has been an issue for the past decades, especially when it comes to filling mid-career officer positions. The lower officer retention rates and lack of lateral entry into these positions has led to the accession of 1,700 additional officer recruits per year. This comes at a cost to the American taxpayer of hundreds of millions of dollars. There are multiple ways that an individual can commission into the active duty Army, but previous literature has not considered the impact of these sources of commission on officer retention. While the average cost per cadet is much higher for USMA, the marginal cost, the cost to produce one additional officer, is much lower. This paper considers the impact of ROTC versus West Point on mid-career officer retention to add to existing literature on the most efficient ways for the Army to generate mid-career officers. This is an important question because upon graduation, officers from both commissioning sources will hold the same rank and have similar responsibilities in the active duty Army. Various levels of human capital investment, mentorship, and returns to education will impact an individual's opportunity costs when they're faced with the stay or leave decision in the Army. Two conflicting ideas make the estimated impact of USMA ambiguous to predict. These are firm-specific human capital and opportunity costs. Hoekstra found evidence that higher college quality will increase the earnings for individuals in their careers. In my study and in the Army, officers from all colleges will be paid the same throughout their career. This indicates the opportunity cost for these officers that attend those higher quality colleges may induce them to leave earlier. In contrast, Scandura finds that increased mentorship leads to increased firm-specific human capital. USMA cadets have many more opportunities for mentorship by living in a military environment day in and day out than ROTC cadets. These two ideas are competing against each other in the context of my research and make the estimated impact hard to predict. To identify the impact of West Point on post-contract retention, I use an instrumental variables approach. I use exogenous variation in district competitiveness measured by applicants in a district to identify the local average treatment effect of USMA. Since congressional representatives only nominate one applicant per year to attend USMA, this adds a sort of randomness to the process that we can utilize. I received data from the Army's Office of Economic and Manpower Analysis and the USMA Admissions Department to provide evidence for my study. The second stage is at the bottom of the slide and identifies my specification of interest. With the assumption for two-stage least squares holding, alpha 1 will represent the local average treatment effect of USMA on post-contract retention. To note, my outcome variable measures the marginal retention past the expiration of the officer's contract. So for example, the 1-year post-contract retention outcome variable is at the 6-year mark for USMA officers and at the 5-year mark for ROTC officers. So evidence suggests that USMA decreases the likelihood of post-contract officer retention at the 1-year, 3-year, and 5-year marks by 15.6, 15.8, and 21 percentage points respectively. The impact of USMA is also larger on individuals in the bottom whole candidate score quartile. It is important to note that these estimates are on average among those induced to attend USMA instead of ROTC scholarship programs due to their district competitiveness as measured by the number of applicants that they had to compete against.